These are some of the last yellow-tailed black cockatoos living on Eyre Peninsula.
I think the chance of the yellow-tailed black cockatoo surviving another 10 years is pretty unlikely.
Sadly, I just think they'll be gone.
Oh, it'd be like losing a friend or a mate. It'd be pretty sad to see them not arrive one year.
They migrate each winter to Mount Damper and spend their summers in the cooler Wanilla forest and surrounds in the south. There are greater numbers of them in the Adelaide Hills in the southeast, but it appears they are facing extinction on Eyre Peninsula. There were about 28 before the devastating Wangary bushfire in 2005. The following year, there were just 14, and they'd lost their breeding habitat.
I didn't think I'd get emotional. Yeah, just so used to them coming, yeah.
The male, which has the red eye ring, when a population gets this low, it's pretty extreme, and it's not going to be a simple answer. For agriculture, there was a lot of land clearing. Trees take 100 or 200 years to make hollows, and we're still living the legacy of what happened back then, and every tree that we plant today is going to be important today, but definitely more important for wood hollow dwelling birds in 100, 120 years' time once it forms these important hollows.
But there could be one last roll of the dice.
The only hope for the future for the yellow-tailed black cockatoos on the Eyre Peninsula is to, and because they're the same species that occur in Adelaide, is to bring over some birds and let them mingle with the ones that are left.
Reintroduction or translocation is the hardest part of conservation work, so it's not an easy fix, but it's not impossible. How did we get in a situation? It primarily is all those drivers of biodiversity loss that we see globally, but in Australia it's things like foxes, habitat fragmentation, introduced species, loss of food supplies. It's many things that have contributed to the loss of cockatoos. The Wangary fire, as most locals refer to it, that caused massive decline in the few that there were remaining on the Eyre Peninsula.
Artificial nesting boxes were put on Kevin Mann's Whiteflat farm after the fire, but the birds haven't recovered and their numbers are no more than 12.
The area that was burned out where the black cockies used to nest. And that's where the black cockies used to feed. We've replanted that with hakeas to give them food sources.
National Parks tried transferring eggs to Adelaide where they were hatched and the chicks sent back to Wanilla, but foxes wiped them out. Local communities fell in love with the birds as well and tried to help in their survival. Marcia Jericho was known as the Cocky Lady.
6 came in February.
She recorded sightings of the yellow-tailed black cockatoo on her Mount Damper property for 28 years.
Whether they were feeding or roosting, and the food, and then I started doing the temperature.
And she collated similar data from 16 local farmers to send to national parks in Port Lincoln.
It was time consuming, but I just did it because I couldn't help myself, and just, yes, loved, was just so intrigued with the black cockatoos.
They are loved for their chattering and screeching, their large size, and have become old friends for local residents.
I'm waiting for them every year. I cannot wait for them. It's bittersweet because I just hope that they're going to be here again because the numbers are so low. But when they do arrive, no matter how many there are, it's always brings a smile to my face. Yeah.
The crunching and the nibbling, and they chatter away to themselves, and yeah, it's just lovely. I love it. Almost like they're talking to me. Yeah, 22 years and it'll take me all that time to get one feather. Yeah, so yeah, I'll treasure that.
They're majestic, they're inquisitive, they'll sit and look at you, they'll almost talk to you. I mean, they're magical birds, I think. Perhaps we could find a benefactor who could take on, looking after the cockies and initiate a captive program of bringing over adult birds. As with all species that are threatened, we should be pulling out all stops to protect them.
I would love for somebody to come forward and partner and really help take the yellow-tailed black cockatoos under their wing. Do I feel confident? There's a lot of species that have a question mark around them at the moment, and it really will depend on our effort as humanity to do better for the wildlife that's around us.